All right, welcome back. Another podcast edition. I'm here with Cooper Heisey today. Cooper, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Max?
It's doing well. You know, it's a great weekend of basketball, round of 64, round of 32, so why not? We're going to preview the Sweet 16. So, Cooper, let's start. Top left. Wisconsin or Florida? Two surprises to many. Who do you think's going to take this game?
I mean, personally, I haven't seen Florida play at all during the tournament, but I saw Wisconsin play my number one pick, Nova, and they played him really tough. Nigel Hayes is tough. He's unstoppable in the post when he gets going. He can hit the mid-range jump shot too, so I got to go with Wisconsin in this one.
You know, you bring up a lot of great points. Florida, kind of like you mentioned before, is kind of sneaky now. A lot of people are recognizing. They beat a very good University of Virginia team by like 25 points. It's like 64-39. Kind of sneaky. Some people had them losing in the first round. You know, it's done very well up to this point. But yeah, as you mentioned, Wisconsin upset Nova as an 8 seed. I'm probably going to go a little bit with my heart here rather than my head. I'm also going to pick Wisconsin, rooting for the Big Ten. Wisconsin, you know, you kind of mentioned it. Nigel Hayes, Bronson Canning, just the seniors of Wisconsin, I think are just going to beat the freshmen like Casey Hill of Florida. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to go Wisconsin. Now, in the other matchup in the East, two very surprising teams, I would say. Baylor versus South Carolina. South Carolina, of course, upset Duke, which no one saw coming. So who do you like here, Baylor or South Carolina?
South Carolina, the energy they played with against Duke, I mean, I think that they're going to win. Chris Silva is a New Jersey native. I actually played against him myself, and he was unstoppable in the post. He had, I believe, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and I mean, Baylor's an athletic team, but I believe USC had the tougher road to get there, and I think that they're better prepared, and they're going to beat Baylor.
Some great points you made, but I'm actually going to disagree with you here. You know, I think South Carolina's run's going to come to an end. At the end of the day, they're still a 7 seed. I don't know if I trust them yet. You know, some teams that survive out of the first weekend usually come back to life and crumble on the big stage. So it was a great upset, Duke. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Baylor, Jonathan Motley, you know, they have a couple 7-footers from Africa, actually. They're huge. I think they're just going to dominate in the post, and I don't know. We'll see. It'll definitely be a good matchup between Motley and Silva, as you mentioned. So I have Baylor, you have South Carolina. That's our first disagreement. So now why not? Let's go to the West. Gonzaga or West Virginia?
I mean, I'm a big fan of WVU. They play hard, they press. They're one team that emphasizes defense, which is unlike a lot of teams nowadays.
Press the entire game.
Entire game, yeah. I think that West Virginia, not even in the tournament, but in the regular season, they just play like tough teams game after game, while Gonzaga's in like not as good a conference. They play St. Mary's. I mean, it's their toughest competition, and they lost. Their only loss this season is to BYU, who's just completely irrelevant. They're in the NIT, and so I'm going to pick WVU in this one. I think their defense is going to be the difference in this one.
Once again, I'm going to disagree with you here. You make a lot of great points, though. West Virginia, I agree they are more battle-tested than Gonzaga, but I just think Gonzaga, some people are underrating them. 32-1 is very good. They know how to win games regardless of who they're playing. You know, early on in the year, they beat Florida, they beat Arizona. They still do have some very quality wins. West Virginia is very good, but I think their time's going to come to an end. Karnowski, Williams, Gross of Gonzaga, they're seniors. I'm going to have to go with the seniors here, but I think that for sure is going to be a back-and-forth game. You know, that could come down to the last possession.
Yeah, West Virginia's offense could come back to hurt them because it's not that good.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that one's going to be back and forth. You could go either way, really. Now, a surprise team to many, Xavier, the 11 seed in the Sweet 16. They're facing the favorite, number 2 seed, Arizona. Cooper and I both have Arizona winning it all. Do you want to change your pick from 2 weeks ago, or are you going to stick with Arizona?
I would,
here?
But I can't. Like what you said before, some of those seeds that, I mean, they got all the energy going for them in the first 2-3 days. They're like, I just don't think Xavier's gonna have enough in the tank to beat Arizona. Arizona's just too good, and I have them winning the national championship. I'm gonna stay by that. I think that they're playing well enough where maybe it'll be close the first half, but I think Arizona's gonna pull away.
I agree with you there. You know, you kind of mentioned it. At the end of the day, the talented team should win. Along with coaching and talent, if you have the talent and the coach, you should win 9 times out of 10. I think this is a perfect example of that. In the first half, it's going to be very close, but at the end of the day, the fitness of Arizona, they just wear teams down with their man-to-man, and they have such a potent offense all around the board. So I'm going to agree with you there, Arizona. And then, why not? Let's go to the top right. A lot of people like Purdue. I don't know. Kansas versus Purdue.
I don't like Purdue here. Kansas, when I watched them play against Michigan State, I was like, oh, this team is for real. I mean, they had like 4 guys in double figures, and they're just an electric team, and when they get going, they're just not stoppable. Going back, I kind of wish that I picked Kansas to win the national title because they're playing very good basketball right now. I can't see Purdue beating them.
You kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Watching Kansas defeat Michigan State, it was unreal. Josh Jackson, Frank Mason. So I'm going to agree with you, go with Kansas, but don't count out the fact this game is in Kansas City. This is basically going to be like a home game, as if Kansas needs any more help. There it is, home court advantage, Kansas versus Purdue. I think Kansas is just too talented. I'm going to go with Kansas here. Now the other matchup, probably more intriguing, Oregon versus Michigan.
I had Oregon in my Final Four. However, Michigan came out of nowhere. They won the Big Ten title after a plane crash, practically, and I mean, they fought through a lot of adversity. Some people think, oh, maybe they'll be tired by now. It's the Sweet 16. They've been through a long road, but I think they're just getting going, and Michigan's gonna be tough to beat. I think they're gonna beat Oregon. I think it's gonna be an upset, and we're gonna see Michigan in the Elite Eight.
Yep, I agree with you there. I think the number 7 seed Michigan Wolverines are going to be in the Elite Eight. Mark it down. I totally agree with you, Cooper. You know, Derek Walton, Mo Wagner, DJ Jones, they're just such a strong team. Oregon almost lost to URI, so they only won by 3. They had that injury. I think Michigan's going to be able to pound it down low. Derek Walton always comes up with the big shots in March, so I'm going to agree with you there. They've won like 7 straight, and I think they're going to make it 8 here. So I agree with you that it's going to be Michigan versus Kansas in the Elite Eight. Moving on down, probably the best of the games, UNC versus Butler.
Watching UNC versus Arkansas, I saw a lot of holes in North Carolina, and Butler dominated the game against Middle Tennessee State. So here I see UNC as a lack of senior leadership. I mean, they have Kennedy Meeks, but I feel as if the loss of Marcus Page they needed him in the tournament last year. He brought them to national championship, and they don't have that this year. They don't have that one player that is just completely separates himself from the rest, and that's
so you're
why
going to go with the upset?
I'm going to go with Butler. I'm going to go with
Wow,
Butler.
okay. Wow, a lot of people have UNC winning also. That certainly busts a lot of brackets. I don't know, you're kind of putting me on the spot here. You know, UNC was the favorite, but you made some great points. Arkansas really exploited their weaknesses. They're really missing a guard there. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with Roy Williams and UNC, but I think it's going to be a close one. Again, late in the second half, I think they're going to pull away, but I don't think they're going to make the Final Four like many had predicted, but I don't know. I'm kind of tearing my hair out on this one, so we'll see. And probably the best matchup of them all,
Absolutely.
2 historic programs, UCLA and Lonzo Ball versus Kentucky and De'Aaron Fox. Who you got?
Oh, I don't know. This is a tough one.
Most likely the toughest matchup for anyone to pick.
I mean, all the hype around like Lonzo Ball and UCLA, but then you have Malik Monk, you have Isaiah Briscoe from New Jersey, you have Fox. I mean, I think that Kentucky's going to put UCLA in their place, and I think UCLA needs that a little bit. They're going to be cocky because they're just cocky, and I think that Kentucky's going to prevail in this one. It's going to be a very close game, but I think that Kentucky's just more battle tested, and they're ready. They're gonna come out on top.
I'm gonna agree with you there. You know, Kentucky, they play very aggressive style on defense.
Yeah.
It's suffocating. They had a tough game versus Wichita State where it was very back and forth. They're a gritty type of team. UCLA is more of the flashy, like West Coast,
Absolutely, yeah.
Live and die by the 3. So I think if Malik Monk or Briscoe could shut down Lonzo Ball, maybe not shut down, but just contain him a little bit better than, let's say, Cincinnati did, I think Kentucky's going to find themselves on the winning end of this one. So I'm going to agree with you there. Coach Cal, I'm trusting my boy. He's going to get it done.
Yep. And at the end of the Wichita State Kentucky game, I saw Kentucky not even let Wichita State really get a shot off. They blocked it, and that's what I'm like. If they put their mind to it, they can lock down Lonzo Ball. And I don't see them losing until maybe the national championship.
All right, so we made our Sweet 16 picks. Now we're just going to go right ahead to the national championship. So who's in your national championship, Cooper?
Well, in my tournament challenge bracket, I had Arizona and UCLA, and I had Arizona winning. But now I'm going to take Arizona and Kansas.
Okay, I like that pick. I'm also going to agree with you. You know, if Arizona just survives their region, Gonzaga or West Virginia, they have that relatively easy road. You know, if they make the Final Four, they're going to have to face Wisconsin, Florida, Baylor.
The East is definitely the worst.
Yeah, so
the worst team.
Arizona has easiest road to say. So I'm going to put Arizona in the final. Really shouldn't be a problem. I hope I don't come back to haunt myself. And then I'm going to have them facing. Originally I had Kentucky, but just watching this tournament, I'm going to agree with you. Kansas is just way too strong all around the board. Defense, offense, they can score, they can defend. Josh Jackson, Frank Mason, guys are just out of this world on talent. I'm not going to make a national championship pick. So
I'm gonna change my pick. I think Kansas is gonna win the national championship.
If I had to
April 3rd.
Yeah, if I had to place my money on it, I'd probably put Kansas right now. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, let us know what you think about our Sweet 16 picks and enjoy the tournament.